Okay, the button says we're live. We'll see how lively we can get today. So I know I'm a minute or two early. I don't like being late for nothing. Or I should say I don't like being late for anything. If I'm gonna be late, I don't want to be late for nothing. Um Looks like we got one customer already, one victim. Oh, hey, radioactive. Thank you for showing up. Hey, real quick, radio, is my mic working? I got to do a mic check. That's the first thing I do. Mic check. To make sure that I have this thing working. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So, as the party is getting wound up to starting here, um, all right. Ron says it's working. Thanks, Ron. I appreciate it. Ron, I know you're tuning in from Michigan. Radioactive. Don't tell me you're coming in from Florida. I have to remember all these things. I'm a slow learner, but I'm trying to retain all this. So radioactive. I think you're tuning in from Florida. All right, score one for me. Right on. I'm batting 2 out of 2 here. So coming up on start time here. I'm just rambling here just for a minute. Got my mic check out of the way. If anybody else jumps on here, I'd love to hear from where you're tuning in from. And I know, like I said, I'm learning. I'm learning where everybody's living. I love it though. I think last week we had Lance from North Dakota chime in. I've had people come in from all over the world, some Scotland. It's kind of cool. Anyways, so I got my list of notes. Waiting for Miss Ron to come out of work. Oh, right on, Ron. Yeah. You know, wait for Mrs. Ron. Perfect. Well, I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made it. Stick around for as long as you can. I'm probably going to hang out for about an hour, 45 minutes or an hour or so before the rest of my day comes about. So I've got on my little list here. So as I get this thing going, people will notice that on my carnivore channel, I probably don't spend a ridiculous amount of time talking about the details of eating a carnivore a carnivore diet, if I might be specific. And there's a reason for that, kind of. And I'll be brutally honest with you. There's a lot of content creators out there, and I love every single one of them. And they focus quite a bit on the details of the diet, and that's great. But oh, hi, hey, all right, Michael Lane, hey, welcome aboard. I'm going to ask you a question here in just a second. Don't me forget. Actually, I'm just going to ask you where you're tuning in from. That's all I was going to ask you. Anyways, my channel, I'm trying to stay focused on the lifestyle part of how I conduct my lifestyle. And I've got it written down here. I've got the word lifestyle written down, and I've underlined the word life because to me that's kind of the big encompassing picture of this whole journey that I'm on. Yes, I eat carnivore. I'm coming up like within 4 days. 4 more days will be 3 years for me of eating carnivore, which is great. That's fine. I've had a lot of success on it. And I know plenty of people who don't choose this path, and I encompass them all in warm hugs. That is just as important to me as anybody else that would jump on my bandwagon, which is, not necessary for anybody. So I guess my point is that my channel, I've been focusing a lot, probably 75% of it, if I were going to put a percentage on it, of just talking about the lifestyle in a lot of different, the life part of the lifestyle in a lot of different aspects. And I've got a lot more of that coming. and I'm still going to do some food content, I guess, if you will. But I mean, really, it's the whole idea of this journey is that I mean, I can cover food content in about 10 minutes. I mean, there's really nothing to it. I'm a trucker and parked for my 34-hour reset here close to Indianapolis. Holy cow. Well, welcome aboard. You know, I appreciate that so much. You're a trucker parked in 34-hour reset in Indianapolis. That is awesome. I love hearing about where people are coming in from. So like I said, my channel is it's not pivoting away from my main topic of being a carnivore, but I'm expanding out in a lot of different aspects. And of course, on today's live is not going to be any exception. There's going to be some talk about my diet a little bit, but the majority of it is going to be the lifestyle, and the lifestyle can go to far reaches outside of carnivore, eating carnivore, or all that kind of thing. So, what am I going to talk about today? Number one, yesterday was a very huge day for me, very huge day. And oh, Radioactive says there's an ad coming on. Dadgum ads. Sorry. Oh, check out my cup, Captain Carnivore's Campfire Chat. So it's got a picture of me in the back. Of course it does. I'm gonna my wife helps make these. All right, Radioactive, we're back. Okay, the ad's gone. So the mugs, I think I'm gonna start making a couple of them and throw them up on probably my Etsy page just to see if I get any crazy takers on some coffee mugs, some custom ones. My wife makes them. Anyways, speaking of my wife, the most dearest person on the planet to me. Yesterday was a huge day for us. You would think, well, it must be your wedding anniversary. No, it wasn't the wedding anniversary. Don't get me wrong. That's coming up and it's equally as important. But yesterday was our 30-year anniversary of the first time we met, which the funny thing is she took the day off of work and I didn't. So it was what would we do without our wives, right? We would be completely lost. I'd be completely lost. That's a given. So one of my buddies at work, he's not on here yet. If he comes on, he might chime on. It doesn't matter. Anyways, I told him all about it. And I said, here, I'm here to celebrate all night long. I have to work. My wife is home and I'm at work on this wonderful day that we would love to celebrate. But anyways, that's a big piece of news with me this week. Was the fact that my wife and I met for the first time 30 years ago. It's incredible to actually think about. And that kind of is going to tie into some other of my topics about, and I've talked about this before, the importance of generating good quality memories, having good times with family and friends, and the importance of creating memories. And I'm talking like good memories. Listen, everybody's got good times and bad times. Now, this is my nickel tour. This is my theory, and it's a sound one, if I might say so myself. Keep the good memories, ditch the bad ones. You can learn lessons from the bad ones. I'm not saying don't learn any lessons, but the point is that if you're going to reminisce, think back on the good times. Don't think back on the bad times. It sucked the first time around, and dragging them back up sucks the second and the third time and the fourth time around. Focus on the good memories. And so what do? It's incumbent upon me to try to make better memories for the future for everybody around me. So I'm 55 years old. So I'm like I'll tell you something. I've been accused of being childlike. There's no better compliment. Now, I will tell you one thing. There's a difference between childlike and childish. There are maybe times when I act childish. All right. But I don't act childish. childlike. And let me explain again. You look through the eyes of a child, and there's a whole world is at their, everything is new. Everything is an unexplored experience. And as we get older, that wonderment wears off. And I am doing my hardest to bring that back to me. So that's what I mean when I say I act childlike. I mean, I don't sit there and act childish. That's different. Childlike is looking through the eyes of a child at the world, and in awe and wonder, and figuring out all the things that interest you, and finding and constantly learning. That is my take on. My wife would attest to the fact. Hi, Stoker. Welcome. My wife would attest to the fact that I am childlike. Everything that I do, almost everything that I do, is trying to look through the scope of a child at the wonders of the world, yet things that yet need to be explored. And like I said, create memories along the way, create good ones, ditch the bad ones. Everybody's got them. Stoker, I went through everybody here to try to remember where everybody is located at. And I'm going to guess that you are coming in from Ontario, if I remember right. I am trying to remember where everybody lives. Now I have Michael. He's a trucker. He's in Indianapolis. So, okay. Yeah. Perfect. See, look at my memory has not slipped, and I'm going to try to keep it that way. So I've got somebody on the road in a trucker in Indianapolis, which is absolutely fantastic. Radioactive is here. I mean, I got a really beautiful crowd here. By the way, Radioactive, I called you out last week for my comment of the week, and I still think about it. I still had a conversation with somebody just the other day about the comment. Anyways, thank you for showing up. It's a real blessing. So let's move on to the next topic. This next topic. Thank you. I'm happy to have you here too. So this next topic, from an outsider looking in, might come across as being a morbid topic, and it's not. Let me explain. Anyways, last year I did a thought experiment, and I love thought experiments. I mean, I got to keep the noodle. I got to keep the noodle up to snuff on figuring stuff out. So I did a thought experiment last year, and I'm 2 years into that carnivore at that time. And I thought, I have these little, I'll show you one here. I have them in a little cup. You won't even be able to see it. In my finger, you can't even see it, is a little ceramic bead. And what am I showing you? There it is right there. Why in the world am I showing you this? I have about 10 trillion of these things for a different project that I was doing on. And I was thinking, at that particular time, I was 54 years old. Now I'm 55. But anyways, at that time, I was thinking, I got onto my favorite AI, and I asked it from that date till the age of 90 years old, how many days do I got left? Assuming that I make it to 90 years old and I don't get hit by a gravel truck or any other catastrophic thing in my life. Maybe I'll go to 95. Maybe I'll go to 105. That's what I'm hoping for. But anyways, I just picked 90. And I typed in the weight and the dimensions of these little ceramic balls that I have. And I asked the AI, I said, how many? How many? Number one, how many days is that? And I'll give you the updated number. This is to today's date until the day I turn 90. That day is 12,480 days. 12,480 days. What am I doing with this information? What kind of thought experiment am I conducting? Well, the first one was a curiosity. I thought, well, I got all these beads. So I figured out, I asked the AI, I said, how big a container do I need Do I need a 5-gallon bucket? Do I need a mason jar? Do I need to go rent a storage unit to get a space big enough to hold all these things? I'm going to show you something. See this little plastic cup right here? Each one of those little balls represents one day of my life that I have until I turn 90. 12,480 of them approximately. So what does that mean? That means that every one of these little guys holds an incredible amount of potential for future. And as a person gets a little bit older, and I'm not saying old, I mean, let's be real here. I could be 90 years old and I would never consider myself old because I'm assuming I have tomorrow ahead of me. So, hey, I'm good to go. But as we go through, as we mature, grow up, get older, it's easy to come to the conclusion that we take time for granted. Like, oh, I got all the time in the world. No, you don't. This is this not a morality check. Not morality. It's my check on not, like I said, it's not a morbid thing. I'm not sitting here talking about how much time I got left. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the potential for every single day to do something, whether that's make a memory, make something. I'm really big on making something, passing something along to somebody, piece of knowledge, a piece of, I got crafts all over the place. I make a lot of things. Yeah. Reality check, right? I kind of like open my eyes. It was an interesting thought experiment. Yeah. It was an interesting thought experiment. And I keep this little cup, and I'm going to be honest with you. Do I reach over and pluck one of these things out every single day? No, I don't. No, I don't. I really don't need that level of reminding of what the thought experiment was about. But I do have it sitting over on a shelf for the particular purpose of me just glancing over at it and remembering that, okay, I did have a thought experiment. I did come to the conclusion that I'm on borrowed time. We all are. This kind of put it in perspective. I don't need to pull one out of there and try to make it to 90. That's not the point of this. The point is just to make sure that every one of those beads in this little bucket right here represents potential in whatever activity, whatever endeavor that you're trying to accomplish. And I don't sit there and think I get, one day slips by and I go beat my head against the wall because I wasted a day. That's not what I'm talking about. Certain things that you do, can whisk away time incrementally. What do I mean by that? If I slept all day, or if I just wasted one day, well, that's just a day. But if I take a piece of the day, and let me tie this in. I'm a recovered alcoholic. So if I were to think for the last almost 35 years of drinking, and I've been clean for almost a year and a half now. But anyways, to put it in a perspective, if I take all that time on almost every single day, and equate that into cumulative time portions of each day, that adds up to an incredible amount of time that I could argue was easily wasted. And there are activities that are wasteful, doom scrolling. I do it. Probably a lot of people do. But I have been trying to mitigate all these daily vampires that suck the life out of you 1 minute at a time. And everybody's got them. I do them. That's not the point. I just mitigate it. And what the hell does this have to do with carnivore? Well, like I've said before in some of my videos, I've taken my lifestyle and we'll use my eating regimen, and I've simplified it down to a point of where I've actually freed up a lot of time in my personal space as far as what I eat every day, just the routine part. regardless of what I eat. It's just the routine part that I have freed up extra time. And so I try not to use that extra time by killing it, you know, by wasting it. And I encourage people to consider thinking about what they still want to do that they haven't done yet, haven't started, or rekindle an old spirit. Maybe it's a friendship, maybe it's an activity, maybe it's a hobby. Doesn't really matter. A former interest, a current interest that has waned in interest, so to speak. Rekindle the life in it. And then if you find something in your life that is freeing up any time, push that time into your newfound endeavor, whether it's music. I believe me, I got more crap going on and I can't even keep it organized half the time. Some of you may even know. I mean, I've been working on some chain mail. Some people might say, "Well, what in the hell do you need chain mail for?" I don't. I don't need any of it. I just like it, and so if I like it, I'm going to spend some time at it. So that's what I did. So, wife off work, got to drive now. Ron, thanks for stopping by, buddy. I appreciate it. I really do. Take care of the wife. Have a good weekend, buddy. So that is my story on what I'm talking about with little ceramic beads. The whole entire thing, a reason why I have these things from the get-go, is a completely other hobby related story. Maybe I'll do that some other time. It's kind of ridiculous. But anyways, so I do have a comment of the week. And the comment of the week actually was by a fellow that was here last week. I don't see him on the live today, which I hope it'd be nice if he stopped by. This is North Dakota Carnivore Lance. So it's Lance that wrote this one. And Lance writes, I'll read it real quick verbatim, and then I'll tie it in with what my thought is on it. So Lance writes, and this actually had to do with one of my other videos I did about jerky in particular. Anyways, jerky is my biggest temptation. I like to make my own, but I will find some clean beef sticks when I have a snack attack. One of the local butcher shops here makes a really clean beef stick. I do like my own jerky, and I know exactly what it is, what's in it, and what's not. And so, why did I choose this comment to read on Comment of the Week? Well, basically, what Lance is telling me is that number one, he's not afraid of making his own snacks, which is, in my opinion, even long before I was carnivore, I made my own snacks. I had a dehydrator. We had, my wife and I were on a 5-acre homestead for a little over 10 years. So we had garden, we had ducks and chickens and all kinds of fun things. So we did prepare a lot of our own food preparation, basically. But I grew up on food preparation. I've grew up on homemade jerky, all these kinds of things. So I already had my foot in the door. But Lance writes that he likes to make his own. Now, what's important about the other part of this comment that he made? One of the things that really stood out with me is the fact that when he's not able to make his own treats or jerky or snacks or whatever, he keeps it local. He goes to a local butcher shop. I was like, really? That is important. Keep, anytime that you can keep your resources in a localized area, especially supporting local produce, local butchers, whatever. And when I read that, I was like, okay, good one, Lance. That's great. I mean, and the butcher probably has some meat that he could buy, and then he could take it home and make it himself, or he just buys what the butcher's already made. The butcher's going to say, this is what I put into it. I'm the one that made it, not some plastic package on the shelf, with all the other plastic packages. Oh, radio. So before you went vegan, you used to love deer jerky. No, see here. Yeah. Deer jerky, venison. So I just mentioned a minute ago, I grew up on jerky. And I think I may have told this story before. I'll tell it again real quick. As you can tell, I love telling stories. When I was growing up, venison was one of the only meats that I even knew, except from, chicken type of meat. But I'm talking like red meat of any kind. I mean, because we hunted, and that's what we. Everybody else in my life hunted for trophy hunting. Not me, not my family. We hunted for the freezer, and we would get as legally as many deer as we could to put in the freezer, and that's what we ate all year long. And of course, my mom would make a certain portion of that into jerky. So I grew up on venison jerky. So yeah, radioactive. You bringing that up brings back a lot of fond memories for me. And by the way, everybody might say, "Gosh, you got a vegan on your channels?" Heavens, yes, I got a vegan on my channel. I'd have a vegan. That is not the issue. That is not the issue. Venison jerky is better than beef. Well, I may not argue with that. I may not argue with that. Radioactive agrees. Yeah. I mean, my mom made jerky. She made turkey jerky, which is interesting. She made hamburger jerky, which is, I make a lot of hamburger jerky, obviously venison, and then occasionally beef. But anyways, homemade. Love it. Lance, I don't see Lance here, unfortunately. But maybe if Lance watches the replay, he'll see I call him out for the comments of the week. Set that aside. So I'm gonna move on here to some of the things. Like I was saying in the beginning of the live, the lifestyle part of this whole journey. This live, I'm focusing on the life part of lifestyle. And as I sit here and contemplate fond memories of growing up, one of the things that I recollect that I remembered not too long ago, and I have to admit, we moved off of our property 3 years ago. And one of the things that I found out that I missed the most was the night sky. And it really started getting me thinking. When I was a kid, believe it or not, one of my absolute favorite activities was sleeping outside under the stars. In particularly when there was a meteor shower. Now, I'm going to ask everybody that's here, the whole entire crowd of 3 of you left. If anybody has ever had the chance to sleep out underneath the stars and or experience a meteor shower, it's hard to do, if not damn near impossible. If you're within the city limits, you have a lot of light pollution. But I'm curious, has anybody tried a jerky piping gun? It looks versatile, easy to use, and easy to portion. Yes, I have one. I call it my meat zuka, as opposed to a bazooka. I call it my meat zuka. I do have one. It holds like 2 pounds of beef in it, and I use it frequently. Might even talk myself into using it before the weekend is up. I just gotta go get some burger. I recently moved to the suburbs from my old house in the woods. I used to love fishing and swimming in my lake and climbing trees. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Those are activities those are fond memories. So I've got amazing fond memories of sleeping out under the stars. In particular, what drove this fascination with sleeping outside on the ground was we meaning my cousins and myself, would wait until the meteor showers would come by. Now you really got a show. I mean, it's one thing to lay on the ground, look up at a dark sky and sit there and look at all the stars. That's fantastic. But when you have a meteor shower going on, you got yourself a real program happening. So has anybody experienced one before? Or, I mean, I'm not saying just seeing a meteor, which is absolutely fantastic. I think that's wonderful. But part of all of this that's resonated with me through all these years is I can remember these things as I was a child with such fondness. I loved every minute of it. And when we were on the property, I didn't go out and sleep outside, but every time that there was a meteor shower, my ass was outside. Midnight, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, didn't matter. Sitting out in my chair. Oftentimes when it's that time of day, it's so dang cold outside and you're freezing anyways, but it didn't matter. But watching meteor showers is amazing. Oh yeah, Boy Scouts and camping, my family loved it, right? Fell asleep on the roof watching a meteor shower once. Well, then you can relate. Um, it's awesome, and it's from a logical perspective, it's like a benign thing to do. Like, oh, you're gonna go sit outside and stare up at the sky. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. But it's dark out. That's cool. And there's also a meteor shower going on. And if you know what's going on with meteors, it's extra cool. Anyways, I'm turning this into a night watching channel, and that's not the point. The point is to keep the lifestyle alive by creating these fond memories that you can remember. And what's even better yet, if you can share these experiences with somebody in your family or a neighbor, especially watching meteors, because I grew up with all my family out there. That's what we would do. I mean, it was a form of entertainment. It was long before we had TVs, for heaven's sakes. So get out there and make some memories with your family. So, what I got here on my list? What have I been working on? Last weekend, speaking of my wife and what I've been working on. So we were sitting around here one afternoon contemplating what we were going to do. How are we going to spend our afternoon? And we like to do something that's creative, fun. Sometimes we go for a drive. And one of the things that we hadn't done that we both love to do so much is to put a puzzle together. And I have no idea where all of our puzzles are. But I told her, I said, you want to put a puzzle together? And both of us like, oh yeah, let's do that. That'd be great. And then it's like, well, where's the puzzles? I have no idea where the puzzles are. So we had to run to the store. We make a trip to the store, especially to buy a puzzle. We came back with 2 of them. So what am I currently working on as far as a project? I had to clean the whole entire table off, almost the whole thing. And we're putting together a big puzzle. And so every time that we get 5-10 minutes, an hour of time, preferably together, we sit down and we solve some of the world's problems by putting a puzzle together. Another basically benign activity, but when you're sharing something with somebody, especially with your spouse in particular, and both of you are enjoying the process of making something, because we're going to take this puzzle, it's brand new to us, we never put it together before, and we get it done, we're going to glue it together and we're going to hang it on the wall. And then I'm going to start building the other one. I bought 2 of them. So that's what I am working on. We probably have another week to put this thing together, by as much time as we put into it every day. And I can't wait. Either I'll start on the next puzzle, or I'll bring my next set of my next chainmail shirt that I'm building, which needs the whole entire table, and maybe I'll start working on it again. I've taken a couple weeks off just because my table got too cluttered for it. But once again, why does a guy need chainmail? You don't. Nobody needs it. But when you want it and you like to make stuff, you make it. That's what I say. So what do we got here? Yeah, I'm about 30 minutes into it. So this live may not drag on. I could drag it on all day if you want, but I don't want to lose any of you for sheer boredom. I don't want to drive anybody off with crime because I bored them to death. You tried to make chainmail once. You know what? You brought up the fact that you wanted to pour pewter last week, if I remember right, which is another fascinating activity, which I do. As you can see on the shelf back here, if I get my fingers in the right place, I have this little guy right here. I 3D printed a stand for him. I'll take it off. This little coin right here. Just got the same 3 horns of Odin on the back. But anyways, It's about 2 ounces, 2.1, 2.2 ounces, or whatever it is. That's a pewter project I did. I designed it on the computer, 3D printed a model, did a sand casting with some very, very awesome sand casting clay, so to speak, and then poured a pewter coin. I'll spend a couple of minutes talking about this because it is kind of cool. If you look really close, you see all the texture in the background. So I wanted the coin textured, not smooth, not shiny or anything. I wanted it to have some texture. I can't. There we go. Anyways, how was I going to accomplish that? I went and designed I had to make a stippling tool. What the hell is that? Basically, it's a sharp piece of metal, and I needed a small hammer. So I grabbed a small hammer, and I built a 3D printed stand that had a swivel on top. I got it sitting on the floor over there. I'm not going to grab it. It's not that important of a project to probably anybody, but it's important to me. And I sat there, and there are probably 2 to 4 billion little dimples on either side of this coin. And each one of them was tapped in one at a time with a little pointed piece of metal. And it gave it a very, in my humble opinion, a very cool background feature to it. Anyways, so cool. After I spent too many hours someone would say, God, you wasted all your time doing that. No. This goes back to this right here. I have fond memories of spending too much time doing this for something so trivial, but it's important to me. I made this for me and I love it. And so then I had to design this little 3D printed stand for it, which I did for that piece up there too. And I keep it on the shelf behind me because I like it. Do I need it? No, I don't need it. I need my wife. Other than that, I don't need a piece of metal stuck on the wall, but I like it, along with all the other crap I got hanging around. So I'm always making something. Always. It's a problem I have. It's a problem I have. Anyways, so I think, let's see. I rattled through quite a few topics, but we've got, okay, so radioactive. You said you tried to make chainmail once and didn't get far. I'm going to let you guys in on a little side secret. If anybody gives a hoot, if you give a hoot, I have another YouTube channel called Luke Makes Knives. And as you might already know, I've got one up on the wall here. I make knives too. That's one of my true longtime passions. I've done this since I was a kid. So this is probably the OG hobby of mine. What does that have to do with anything in particular, even chainmail? On my other YouTube channel, which is quite a bit smaller than this one, it's just for fun, but that's where I stack a lot of my hobbies, making knives. A lot of the fixtures that I've designed through the years, they're on there. And my chainmail is on there too. Not in any detail, but radioactive. If you want to go take a peek at some chainmail, in particular, the project that I'm currently working on, and believe me, the video footage is nothing that you'll find on Netflix or anything anytime soon. But yeah, Luke Makes Knives. That's my other channel. So now there's the cat's out of the bag, sitting there self-promoting my other channel. But anyways, so I may have done a video in the past, maybe even on this channel in the beginning. I can't even remember. I'm not going to put it up there. I'll probably drop it and cut myself or something. Talking about, where I'm at with my knife making after all these years and all the transitioning and stages of my life and everything. And it's kind of fascinating and from my perspective, but I'm not going to share that here. This is not the knife making channel. That's on my other channel. Luke Makes Knives. So Captain Carnivore. So this is like I said this before, what does all this stuff matter with Captain Carnivore, or in particular eating carnivore? And like I said in the very beginning, this is all about lifestyle and life, the life section of lifestyle. It really doesn't matter. I've got my dear new friend here, Radioactive, who is a vegan. Group hug. Seriously. I like knives too. I use them on my steak. It's a perfect reason to have them around. So, Radioactive, you are a vegan. I am a carnivore. And our level of respect for each other is probably completely off the charts. And I'm saying this from my perspective, and I think I feel that reciprocation from you too. But lifestyles, and you might say, well, you're talking about the carnivore lifestyle. No, I'm talking about lifestyle. Whatever path you're on, whatever it is. I just chose this live to talk about the life part of my lifestyle, and I encompass everything. That coin back there, putting puzzle together with my wife, talking about sitting underneath the stars, watching meteors shoot over my head. Geez whiz, I can't even remember some of the other things I talked about, but that is that's what I'm talking about as far as the lifestyle. Oh, talking about the little bucket of beads here, talking about my end days here, for crying out loud. I got 12,480 of them left, approximately. Actually, I have a lot more than that. You want to know why? Because I'm not going to stop at 90. I got too many things to do. Yes, I'll definitely agree. Yeah, right. Yep. We see a lot of things similarly, probably more than we do differently, in my opinion. But I got 5 people on here. Is there anybody that, let me guess. Oh, not let me guess. Is there anybody on here currently that hasn't chimed in to say hi and or let me know where you're tuning in from? Because okay, Michael, you're in Indianapolis. Radioactive, you're in Florida. Stoker, you're in Ontario. Oh man, I am. And Ron's come and gone. He had to go with Mrs. Ron, but he's in Michigan. These are once again, are they important to me? Well, they're important, but it's not imperative information. I didn't go write a whole section in some new book I'm writing about the people that show up on my live and where they live. But I do like to associate, I don't know, the reach of the channel. I've had people chime in from Australia, from Scotland, of all places, and that's cool stuff. So if there's anybody that's on here that hasn't chimed in yet, don't be bashful. Drop in and say hi. Is there any? Let me toss this out there. Well, I've got all 5 of you here. I have 10 ears leaning towards me. Is there any questions? Is there anything that so some of my, I'll give you, well, first of all, I'll give you a chance to possibly think of a question, throw one out to me, anything, doesn't matter. But I'm going to give you a little insight on where some of my up and coming videos are going to lead. I am doing some fun experiments. I already talked about some jerky episodes and some, my good friend Lance and North Dakota, who's not here at the moment, unfortunately, but I read his comment of the week in regards to jerky. So I am doing a lot of jerky experiments. And what does that mean? Really not an experiment necessarily, because I've been making jerky for a long time. All of my kids, my grandkids, they can't live without the stuff. I make bacon candy, or bacon. Well, I do make bacon candy, but beef jerky candy for the kids. We're talking just, honey and brown sugar, molasses, everything that makes life super good. And that's not what I am currently making for myself. I do make it for the kids, like I said, but I'm not making it for myself. But what else am I doing with it? Well, I am developing. I'm not coming across as being some mad scientist. This is not a revolutionary thing, but I am taking some carnivore friendly, no carb ingredients. No carb meaning damn near no carb ingredients, and making some of my own recipes, which my beef jerky candy recipe for the kids is my own recipe. for years, I never made it the same anyways. It was always a surprise because it was a holiday treat, just like opening a present. You don't know what it is. But I am trying to formulate like a mad scientist wearing a lab coat, actual recipes. And I intend on sharing some of my recipes either via whatever method through my channel with people. I don't know if there's any desire for it. Really doesn't matter. My channel, I'll throw it out there if I want to. But if there's anybody that raises their hand and go, hey, I'm interested, I'd love to see how you do that. I'd love to hear that too. A little bit of feedback is always welcome. So if anybody has any questions about anything, I don't care if it's about pouring pewter, making chainmail, what kind of jerky I've got on the counter. I'm actually going to do some more beef jerky this weekend. I can't wait. Michael writes, about your ground beef, do you prefer 80-20 or 73-27 or anything else? This is a fantastic question. So I'm going to give you two different angles on this. And the reason why I'm going to give you two different angles for this is because I have multiple purposes for my ground beef. What the hell do I mean by that? You may or may not know that I eat almost exclusively ground beef. Do you have any protein targets? You tried to. So, okay. You're coming up next, Stoker. So back to the burger. I eat almost exclusively burger for a number of different reasons. It's sustainable. It's readily available, relatively affordable compared to other cuts of meat and whatever else. I'm not real big on chicken or turkey. But that's not anything relatively new to me. It's the way it's always been. So back to the burger. So I like the fattiest burger I can possibly get. I do a lot of shopping at Costco. I just came back from the local grocery store about 2 hours ago. Went through their meat section, didn't find anything I liked, and then left everything. Maybe I'll go back tomorrow. But I like to find the highest proportion of fat if I'm going to buy the ground beef. Okay, second option is I make my own beef chips or beef snacks and I dehydrate it. Fat doesn't dehydrate very well. I mean, I do make bacon treats in my dehydrator, but that's like cooking bacon in a dehydrator, not for the sake of self-storage or preservation value or anything like that. My beef chips, I like to keep it relatively lean only because it adds to the shelf life a little bit. So if I make several pounds of it, which I do like twice a month, I make them for my snacks at work. And I don't grab a bag of chips or nothing like that when I'm at work. I grab my own bag of beef chips that I make. And I've got plenty of videos out there showing me how I do it. But when it comes to beef, ground beef, I like the extra fatty beef. And I'm going to add a third thing here too. You get a bonus one on this one. So when I make my snacks, I like the lean. If I'm going to throw it in a pan, I like the fatty one. Safe. But what happens if I can't get, which occasionally when you go to Costco, they're going to give you what they give you, like 80-20 or 80-83, whatever the hell it is, doesn't matter. If I want more fat in it, if I want to control the fat, and I've done this before, I got a meat grinder. I'll buy some lean meat and I'll take some bacon grease, some bacon fat, and throw that in there and grind it up. It's heaven on earth if you're a carnivore. And it's fantastic. That's kind of the extra bonus I'll put in there as far as, I haven't made my own ground beef in a little while. My wife and I used to do it quite a bit when we were on the homestead. But anyways, that's my take on that. The next one, do you have daily protein targets that you try to meet? Stoker, I think you're trying to, you're asking me, have I narrowed down my requirements or any measurable metric on my protein? And the down and dirty answer for you is no, I don't. It's not that I should, that I shouldn't. I probably should. It's just that I don't. What I've done in regards to what I eat every single day has been a hit by miss, especially through the early months, so to speak, finding out what works. And if it doesn't work, I change it. And if that doesn't work, I change it again. And if it starts to work, I don't modify it too much. And what does this all mean? It means when it comes down to my protein, some people say, well, you need, 30% protein, 70% fat, or, whatever percentage. And that's not, I don't disagree with that, or, not necessarily the numbers, but I'm talking about the concept. It's not that I don't disagree with the concept, is that I don't do that. I don't. I will take and try to keep as much of the good grease that comes out of my burgers when I make them, and I'll lather it back on there after the burger's done. And if I think I need more, then I'll put some more butter on the burger when I'm done, and add animal fat that way. So that's my take on the protein target. I'm assuming that's what you were referring to. The only reason I asked is if it seems like you don't eat enough according to the big YouTube influencers. Maybe. I'm coming up on 3 years, and I've said this a few times before, is that I have found what works best for me, and I'll give you an example. I've talked about signals from the body. Now, I can look at a piece of paper. Somebody a hell of a lot smarter than me, probably write down a piece of paper and say, listen, I can tell right now. I can just look at you and say, you need this, and you need more of this and less of that. It's not that they're wrong. But I'm a strong proponent of everybody being not only an individual on a lot of different levels, but also we're all fundamentally different in almost every aspect, except that we're all humans. We're all Homo sapiens, and and on all the other common characteristics. But there's a lot of people that require very detailed information about what they're supposed to eat, down to the weight, the calorie count, carbohydrate count, all these minute details. I'm not that person. So I just listen to my body. It's really that simple. For me, naturally, as you can tell, I am no doctor. I'm some guy on YouTube, but from my perspective, I just listen to the signals of my body. And that's, clear on down to if I wake up with leg cramps, by God, I know that I have missed some sodium in some form or another the previous day. It's simple. Anyways, I gotta go back here. Gee whiz, I'm getting some good comments. You guys are. Do you use herbs and plant seasonings like pepper or thyme, radioactive? Okay, so to answer your question, yes, I have and I do. It is in such minuscule amounts that it's hard for me to even put into it. Let me digress. Coming up on 3 years of eating carnivore, if I taste something that's simply delicious, like thyme, we'll even throw pepper in there. Can't argue with pepper. My old taste buds, if you will, and my new taste buds, if you will, are completely different. I didn't plan it this way. I didn't ask for it. But what do I mean by different? We'll just call it sensitive. And so do I incorporate seasonings? I do occasionally. Obviously, I use salt, and I use smoked salt. I use smoked salt on everything. Everything. And that is my main seasoning. Have I used pepper? Matter of fact, I've got a batch of jerky sitting over there that's seasoned almost primarily with pepper, and that I still eat. So when I say that I am Captain Carnivore, where's my sign? Captain Carnivore. I'm Captain Carnivore. I'm Captain 95% Carnivore, if you know what I mean. Anyways, I do. Occasionally I do. It's not a main staple, radioactive, not a main staple for me. And of course, if I'm making something for a crowd, I'm going to please the crowd first, by the way. They're going to get the good stuff. The only reason I asked this, okay, I already read that one. LAMZ, good afternoon, good evening. Ground beef is my favorite as well, but I have lots of pork belly as well. Dear God, number one, thank you for showing up. Number two, pork belly. I got a soft spot for pork belly. That reminds me, I'm going to write this down. I have to tell you guys in a future live. Don't have time to do it today. I'm going to tell you about my adventures in pork belly. I have got to write this down so I don't forget, because if I don't write stuff down, I'm definitely going to forget. Yeah, pork belly. Yeah, I love pork belly. I love pork belly. Anyways. And by the way, LAMZ, and don't ask, where are you coming in from? I ask everybody this. I love finding out where people are chiming in from. By the way, I love the comment. Ground beef is my favorite as well, but I have lots of pork belly. God bless you. Everybody should have lots of pork belly. Some say to target 1 gram per pound ideal body weight. You know what? I can't fault that logic. Like I said, the whole entire space is, and I'm free to admit this, is full of people way, way more educated and way smarter than I will ever be. I've had multiple people ask me details, like specifics about the diet, like biological details. And it's like, I'm here to tell you, I have no idea what the hell's going on. When I was interviewed with Dave Mack, not that long ago, I brought up the fact of macros. And let me tell you my take on macros. Holy macro. Do you just see that? That's my take on macros. I mean, so what does that mean? It means I don't keep track of them. I don't even know what the hell they are. So am I a loose cannon when it comes to eating carnivore? Hell yeah, I am. I'm a loose cannon on just about everything in my life. But I haven't educated myself on all these details. Oh, Ray, is somebody stepping out? I'm sorry, I got to go. Been great. Radioactive, bless you. Thank you for stopping by. And thank you so much. Can't wait to see you next week, by the way. Have a great weekend. So the holy macro, all these details that a lot of us that know about the fine details of what we do. I have not dwelled into. I haven't ventured into that cave yet. And it's not that I won't. It's just that, like a lot of things that I do, I dive in and I don't fret over all the details before I start something. That doesn't mean that the people that do are wrong. Quite the contrary. They're probably right. I'm probably the one that's wrong. But that's just how I'm wired. That's just how I do things. So do I have any idea about, there's a lot of influences out there. I'd be willing to bet that all of them are probably smarter than me and know what the hell's going on. I do not. So, okay. And I'm signing in from France, but I live in the Netherlands. Good grief. So there we go. I had somebody sign in one time from Australia, Scotland, and now I'm a new friend from France, and they live in the Netherlands. Well, thank you for being here. I don't know what time it is there. If it's like 3:00 in the morning, man, oh man, I hope I don't disappoint. So your body will tell you what you crave, but it sometimes lies when it comes to addictive sugars. Boy, no doubt. I tell you, addictive sugars are nothing but a lie anyways, and they'll lie their way to the top any way they can. But good point. I have half a cow. Let's see. Stoker says, I buy half a cow every 4 or 5 months and get the steaks out from it. But all the roast and small bits get turned into 1 pound. Ooh, boy. Stoker, you're in Ontario? I asked my wife if we're due for a trip to Ontario. Oh, man. I'm envious. I am. That is a fantastic plan. We've done partial cow purchase when we were on the property. Of course, we didn't have cattle, but we found a local rancher, and that's where we bought our beef from. So when you tell me that, once again, I just my eyes kind of flutter back in my head a little bit, in like, oh, I miss those days. So I am very envious, very envious. So, the I'm going to have to wrap this live. Oh, we're coming up on an hour. Wow. Good job, Luke. Good job. Another duchy. Oh, you guys are, that's awesome. You know, the whole premises of doing these lives is I love the community aspect of it. Like Radioactive, for example, who just dropped in for as long as they could and then left. It really is. I love this atmosphere. I love talking about stuff. If you guys like to see any other crazy content, or if somebody was brave enough to say, hey, what else are you up to? I've got a lot of, I have a plethora of things that I could talk about that I would label under the life part of the lifestyle, and carnivore being just one particular aspect. Fair game. And that's one of the reasons why I talk about these abstract things on my, on my carnivore channel, because my carnivore channel is evolving. You think the freezer is essential, and I have one in the truck. Whew, now you're prepared. You're prepared. You're a truck driver. You've got a freezer in your truck. That's what I'm talking about. So my channel is I'm not going to say that it's evolving. Well, everything in my life is evolving. We're all evolving, changing, adjusting, making compensations for everything. But the channel is also taking some interesting, fun turns. And I'm spending a lot more time discussing lifestyle aspects and incorporating into my carnivore regimen, because it's all part of the lifestyle. Some of my activities I attribute to eating carnivore, because my daily routine and regimen has freed up a lot of time. What do you do with the extra time? Well, when you notice you're on borrowed time, you try not to waste it. At least that's my perspective. So I dump it into all kinds of fun things. In particular, the number one thing in my life is my wife, and I spend as much time as I possibly can with her. So, which means that later this afternoon, we've already got activities lined up to spend time together. We're going to come back when we're all done driving around, making fools of ourselves, and work on our puzzle together. So, guys, I got to wrap it up. I hope everybody had fun. Hey, let me take one more sip of my coffee, kind of show off my coffee mug. You can head over to my other channel if anybody gives a hoot. Luke makes knives. Doesn't matter. That's just a part-time side thing. And yeah, everybody have a great day, for heaven's sakes. So I'm going to have some more coffee mugs coming out, if anybody cares. And to be honest with you, I do drink coffee, and I'll give these things away too. I don't give a damn. They're cool. We love making them. My wife does a great job. She makes all kinds of stuff. She's probably worse than I am when it comes to making stuff. She loves it. So, guys, everybody's saying goodbye, which I appreciate that. I want to wish everybody a wonderful weekend. Depending on where you just enjoy your time. By the way, my parting thoughts, and I say this every single time, regardless of what's going on in the world, good things, bad things. You could probably make the argument that, hell, half the time it's bad things. But try to remember one thing. This is my perspective. It's treated me well. Take your time. Take your time you have available. Focus it on things that you can control and you have influence over. This is of paramount importance. At least it is for me. And give it a try. Spend your time and your focus and your life force energy on things that you can control and the things that you can influence. And you will be returned in favor 10 times over. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Captain. See you all. You're welcome. Thank you. My parting thought, like I said, revert more of your time as much as you can away from things that are life sucking and energy sucking. I'll just use the quick one, doom scrolling. Everybody does it. I do too, but mitigate that the best you can. Focus it on things and people, primarily people, your family, your spouse, kids, grandkids, like me, your neighbors, neighbors that are still family in the sense that they're right over there. You know, you they're right there. They're not family, but they're close by. Keep an eye on them, take care of them, and focus your time and energy on things you can control and influence. Well, wise words. Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Well, I'm assuming you're a sir. I don't know. Sorry. If you're not a sir, I'm sorry. I was, I gotta be careful. Anyways, guys, thanks for hanging out. It's been a blast. My lights on both sides of me are battery powered, and I'm coming up on a little over an hour, which is about their life expectancy. So I'm expecting these things to actually shut off, and I'll probably go dark here and not even mean to, but I gotta hang it up for the day, and I owe the rest of my afternoon to my wife. So guys, thanks for dropping by. This is Luke, Captain Carnivore. We'll see you on the next one.